Ideals like peace, freedom, and justice, they get packed up, but we can all go home. Well, I'm not going home. I'm gonna get on my boat, and I'm going upriver, and I'm going to kick that son of a bitch Bison's ass so hard that the next Bison wannabe is gonna feel it. Now, who wants to go home? And who wants to go with me?
Welcome to the Rated G for Gamers podcast, episode 316. Before we start the show, we want to thank all of our wonderful fans who have supported us. And if you want to show support for the Rated G network, you can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/Rated for Gamers. You can also find us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Rated G for Gamers. And finally, please rate and review us on iTunes and Spotify. We appreciate all the love. I'm your host, Dave Rotino, and this is my co-host, Dan. I just saw the Uncharted movie, Robinson.
What's going on, man? Yes! No,
Can't
I
believe
finally
it.
did it. I finally
Can't
did
believe
it.
it, Dan. Can't believe it. Your favorite video game franchise, and it is amazing. I figured you would be first in line to get tickets, sitting in the front row so you could be real close to Tom Holland playing Nathan Drake.
All right. First, I never sit in the front row. The last time I sat in the front row was at Matrix, the second Matrix movie.
You've seen some. No. I remember
it.
you seeing a Marvel movie in the front row. You snuck in.
I don't know what Marvel movie that was.
Whatever.
I haven't been in the front row. I haven't been in the front row since
I
the
remember
Matrix 2.
I remember one time. No, I don't need to get tickets. And then you managed to get in, but you got in, and you were in like the front row.
In. Well, it wasn't in the front row. I'm never in the front row.
Okay, I'm sorry. The second row then. There was some movie. I forget what it was.
I'm never in the second row, never in the front row. The last time I was actually in the front row was the second Matrix movie. And I guess the statute of limitations has already passed. I got in for free because we bribed the security guard at Circuit. Remember the security guard? The movie theater was connected to Circuit City. So we got the security guard a good deal on some open box items, and he was like, "You guys, you can just come in, and I'll sit you down."
Yeah.
And
I'll hook you
he was
up.
like, "There are two available seats for the Matrix." And we're like, "Yeah." They were in the front row. They were in the front row.
There you go. This was the Matrix Reloaded or Revolutions? Because one of those I would sit through. Okay,
I think
Reloaded?
I think it was Reloaded.
Okay, that I would sit through. Part two had some good action scenes.
Part 2, he turned into Superman. So yeah.
Yeah. Early on, he does the little flying thing.
Yeah, it was me and Anthony, and they weren't seats that were together. By the way, it was the seat over here, the seat all the way over there.
Listen, you take what you can get at that point. It's really not a thing.
I've told the story on the show before because I was like, like I see his head. I don't know what's happening on the other side of the screen because I'm so far up.
Over. You're like, I think I see Trinity over there. Maybe that's Agent Smith. I can't tell.
I know it was one of those big theaters too. So that was the last time I sat in the front. I learned my lesson. I said I would have rather paid for it if that was the case.
Okay. Well, it's interesting you bring up that theater. I'll tell you in a little bit, but I want to hear what you think about the Uncharted movie.
So I watched the Uncharted movie. It was on Apple TV. I rented it for $5, and I knew people either loved it or hated it. There was no in between. And I got to say, I see both sides. I see both sides. I see why some people could hate it. And I see why some people could love it. And I got to be honest, I really liked it. I don't understand the hate. I don't understand the hate.
Okay.
I guess I'm the only one in the middle because I really liked it. I thought it was good. Listen, the reason why, in my view, some people hated it is because sort of the origin story was kind of changed a little bit, right?
It's not how they remember it from the video games. or
Yeah,
how they think it should be from the video games.
That's not how Sully and Drake met, right? Like that, like he was supposed to meet him as a kid and help him out, right? Like,
Right, over in
take him under his
Cartagena,
wing.
I think, right? Yeah.
That's not how it happens in the movie, right? Because you got to remember this is a movie, so they got to take some liberties, right? To movie-fy it, as that's not a word, but you know what I mean, right?
And you're like, you're not guaranteed to do a trilogy, right? You don't have the pedigree, you don't have the, like, Naughty Dog was like, yeah, we make awesome games, we're gonna make this new game series, was kind of their idea. I suppose if part 1 didn't do well, then they wouldn't make part 2 and 3. But, in the case of a movie, you got to, like, where is this person from? What is their backstory, right? Unless it's purposeful to, like, hide where Nathan's from and kind of make him more mysterious. And it wasn't, right? He's an Indiana Jones adventure hunter. So you got to,
But there will be a part 2 or, a second movie.
Okay.
I love the fact that they started the movie out with like a big set piece, just like in the games, right? And then they go into the backstory of how we got to that big set piece, just like in the video game.
Do they have do they have like Tom Holland narrating over the scene, going, "You may wonder how I got here," and then they go back in time? No.
Okay. No.
I think it'd be kind of funny.
They do. Again, I don't want to spoil it for anybody or for you. And, it was only out for like 3-4 months now.
Yeah.
There are a lot of Easter eggs. It's a lot of, things that, that was in a video game. Yeah, that chase was in the video game. This was in the video game. How he moves. I mean, we talked about it. He said he wanted to move and have the mannerisms as Nathan Drake. And he is spot on with it.
Nice.
It does end, I will say this, it does end the ending cutscene, right? The movie ends, and then you wait through like a minute, and then it goes into like a Marvel style ending cutscene, right? Post cutscene, and everything. Sully looks, Mark Wahlberg looks like Sully. He acts like Sully.
Yeah.
This is the Uncharted that kind of, right? So that gives me hope for the next movie. I love the big set pieces. I love sort of, the back and forth between Drake and Sully. The two things I didn't like, there were two things I didn't like. One, I really wanted Tom Holland to be young Nathan Drake, right? He's sort of a younger version of the Nathan Drake from the video games, but he's not kid Nathan Drake.
Sure. Yeah.
After playing a high schooler in Spider-Man, Spider-Man,
he was in his 20s for those last two movies. Let's not.
Yeah.
He's got a baby face though. He's got a baby face.
He does. But they do have a sort of, where they look back at him as a kid with his brother, right? And then they cut to him being, in his 20s.
Right.
It kind of threw me off because I think of Tom Holland as being like sort of the kid version.
Sure.
Right? And that's what I think people wanted or thought that the direction they were going to go in when they cast him for that. But I think they cast Tom Holland for two reasons. Obviously, they have him with Spider-Man. He's pretty much under contract with Sony, right?
Yeah, so it's an easier get. Yeah.
And if it's successful, he's young enough to play in several different movies and become a little bit older.
Exactly. Yeah, you don't have an old James Bond situation where like we got to get a new guy because Sean Connery's like 70.
Yeah. But I would, that kind of took me out of it a little bit, right? Because I kind of wanted him to be the younger version. But okay, all right, I can live with that. I can live with that.
Right.
The thing that I really couldn't live with was the bad guy, the villain in the movie.
Not a fan. Okay.
Listen, the acting was great. Antonio Banderas, great actor, love him. But it's Iron Man 3 bad. The villain is Iron Man 3 bad. That's all I'll say.
Like Mandarin bad. The Mandarin bad. So
that's all I'll say.
I'm picking up what you're putting down. Well, I don't know. I still have to see it. I'm assuming the payoff when that happens is kind of like not that great. Maybe they didn't set it up that well, but yeah, I'm gonna see it. I'm surprised I haven't seen it yet.
I know the motivation, right? Like I see the motivation for the bad guy. they could have did so much better. And the twist when it came to the bad guy, just I was sort of like disappointed. But the rest of the movie, the set pieces, the adventure, the action, the the back and forth between Drake and Nathan and Sully, all I thought was awesome. And I think the hate for the movie maybe it was the villain too, right? Like that comes middle of the movie, middle towards the end. But I think the beginning is what people hate because the whole origin part isn't what they know from the video games, and I could see that. But as the movie from the middle to the end, I thought it was great. Which to me, really good movie.
Cool. All right. Well, it was interesting. You mentioned the theater attached to Circuit City, which is the Regal over near 14th Street, Union Square, because I've been on a Marvel kick. I did finish the Moon Knight limited series. Well, I don't want to say limited series, but 6-part season 1 of Moon Knight. I finished the 6 episodes. Very weird, very dark. Goes into some strange territory. It talks about the Egyptian gods. There's a lot of psychological stuff going on there, but very good. Oscar Isaac knocks it out of the park. He is amazing in that. And Ethan Hawke is great in there too. Awesome. Moon Knight's friend, I forget her name. She's also great. Really good. Set pieces are great. CG is good. So I saw that. Recommend it. I know you haven't seen it yet. Well, actually, have you seen any of the Marvel TV series?
So I haven't seen it because I canceled my subscription. It was nothing. It was literally I subscribed just to watch The Mandalorian. That was it. So now that there's so much there to watch, all the series, all the shows, so I could get caught up with what's going on with Marvel. I have 6 free months of Disney Plus with my new FiOS. I took like a new contract to get all the new stuff with FiOS, and they gave me 6 free months. So I definitely have to go and redeem that so I can start watching it. But I'll watch it over the summer.
Okay. I would say do them in order. I liked them all, even Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which was a little more straight shooting in terms of it just being like an action movie that had Marvel characters in it, but it was still highly entertaining. But the reason I bring up that theater is that's where I saw Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which is the latest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe stuff. And it is bananas. Very, very good.
Wait, is it bananas in like an amazing, like this was like super amazing?
It's not like, it's definitely not top 5.
Okay.
It could be top 10. It could be top 10 for sure. 2-hour movie, a little bit over 2 hours, so it's not incredibly long as it could have been.
Long enough. Uncharted was about an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah. Well, and this isn't a spoiler in any sense of the term because he's in the trailer. But if you haven't watched the Doctor Strange trailer and you're still trying to black out, like flash forward, like I don't know, a minute maybe, but the battle with Shumagora, the giant octopus guy with the big eye, amazing. Yeah. Very good.
Okay.
Very good. That was awesome. The whole setup in the beginning was awesome. Let me ask you this. This is important. There are 2 ending cutscenes, right? Like all the other Marvel movies, like the one right after the movie ends and the one after the credits. Yes.
I just need you to give me rate those, or do they move us forward? Or should I be excited about what's to come next?
I mean, it moves us forward, but I'll say I didn't understand the reference in the second cutscene, so I was a little
you're a little lost on that one. Okay.
Well, yes, but with like the casting choice, I'm like, all right, let's go, but I don't know what the thing or who the thing is, but I was like, okay, the casting choice I'm about. So I was like, okay, let's see, let's go ahead and see where this goes.
All right. So now I'm excited because I probably because I was more of a comic book nerd than you.
You may know.
So, okay.
I think it's a bit of a deep cut reference. I mean, it definitely is a bit of a deep cut reference. It's definitely not an A tier reference. I'll say that.
I think they're done with all the A tier reference. I think they're other than X-Men. I think they're done.
Well,
I think Marvel, they've exhausted all their A tier references.
Well, like if you're gonna say, okay, let's like bring it into the Spider-Man universe. You say, hey, we're gonna do a Hobgoblin movie. I go, okay, I understand. You want to do a Shriek movie? I understand. You want to do a Rhino movie? All right, I understand. You know, there's some characters they could still pull up.
I know, but Rhino is nowhere near an A tier. Rhino would be like a C tier reference.
Well, but I know that reference. This
yeah. Okay.
And everyone I was with, we had no clue. It was like we had no clue who that is. So, but it's cool. The casting choice has me hype, so I'm about it.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think also what I heard was that Doctor Strange was supposed to come out before Spider-Man.
Yes.
What was it, No Way Home or whatever, right? Because he was supposed to set up the multiverse, and I think it was supposed to tie into some other properties, and that was supposed to come out first, then Spider-Man. So they had to do some reshoots. They had to rework some stuff. I think it works fine in the way that it was set up from Spider-Man and then into this movie and from the other properties. So I don't have any problem with that. It's easy enough to follow along, but they had to kind of redo some stuff.
I think it makes more sense this way. He screws up.
I mean, it works.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And now he's paying for it in his own movie, right?
Yep.
So, because to be honest, he barely was in Spider-Man. He was in Spider-Man, but then he wasn't, right?
Right. Yeah, so, maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes, maybe.
If even.
Yeah.
So, all right. Listen, enough with the Marvel talk. All right. Dave, we have an awesome show this week. Coming up, we're going to talk about all the Starfield and Redfall delays, right? Mm-hmm. Who didn't see that coming? And we're going to talk about we're also going to talk about Xbox having some outages last week, which surprised me because it didn't affect me at all. But before we get into all of that, let's begin the show with Metroid Dread being the best-selling game in the series at 2.9 million units sold worldwide.
Yep. Not surprising. It is a very good game. It's the last, I don't want to say the last 2D game, but it closes out the 2D timeline or whatever it is. It all kind of relates back together. It's good stuff. Stuff.
You've been a champion for Metroid.
Yeah, I love it.
You've been a champion for Metroid.
It's one of my favorite series, yeah. Yeah, it's up there.
Nintendo really doesn't like to focus on it because it doesn't really sell well in Japan. Even this, right? They only sold 250,000 units in Japan, right? So
right.
It's so weird to say that it's the best selling game in the series and only sell 250,000 units.
I mean, it definitely does well in America. It does well in Europe. It does well everywhere else, as far as I can tell. Right? It's insane.
Well, I contributed to that number because I bought it. I bought the special edition twice by accident.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I have a sealed special edition.
Hey, there you go. Contributing to that number. Yeah. So I wonder, I know that they skipped the 64 generation with Metroid, because it wasn't doing that well, even though Super Metroid is regarded as one of the best games of all time.
Actually, I think you are semi-wrong. Recently, there was sort of footage of the Metroid game, a Metroid game playing on an N64. It was sort of an early build of what they wanted to do.
Oh no, I think somebody's making a Metroid game in the N64 with the N64 hardware.
Yeah, but there was a story a few weeks ago about an N64 Metroid. It's leaked. It was footage of it.
Maybe, yeah. But that was very early preliminary stuff, and they scrapped it right away. Nintendo's like, nah, we're good, because it just doesn't.
Well, I don't know
over there.
I just don't know if it wasn't. Well, I don't know if it wasn't working well. Or didn't have a brand, a good idea for it, because it looked more like a. Because the N64 era everything was 3D, right?
Yeah.
Everything had to be in 3D.
Oh, they were definitely pushing forward on it. Yeah.
Kirby in 3D, so this would have been Metroid in 3D, right?
Sure.
And it probably just didn't. It probably just didn't work.
I think you're right.
The way they wanted to.
Because they even had like Retro Studios pulled magic out of their butt with Metroid Prime. Because everybody, all of the fans are like, I don't know. This first person, third person, whatever it is, like nobody was on board with it. Everyone was skeptical. Even Nintendo was skeptical. Miyamoto was being real cryptic with like giving hints on how to make the game better, right? And they managed to work it all out. And it was amazing, and that was the generation after, right? So you had more horsepower.
Well, that wasn't even supposed to be. That wasn't even supposed to be a Metroid game. They had a first person,
right.
Like that was
right.
And Miyamoto said, "How about Metroid?
Yeah.
Why don't you turn this into a Metroid game?"
Yeah.
So I think that Crazy. If you don't know, watch YouTube channel. Did you know gaming? They have a great piece on that. Like that's kind of crazy to think it wasn't originally going to be a Metroid game.
Mm-hmm. So good.
And it was third person too. It started out as third person.
That's right. Yeah.
So, sticking with Nintendo and the Switch, just, I don't know how I feel about this. The Alan Wake Remastered was just announced for the Switch, and it's coming out in the fall. And it's not streaming. You don't have to stream it.
Okay.
It is, I don't know if they're going to have a physical for it, but you can just buy the game, Alan Wake Remastered, on the Switch.
Wait, what are you conflicted about? This is a good thing, no?
Yeah, well, the quality. Is the quality going to suck on this game?
That's
or what?
Any game that gets ported over, you have that. I mean, it's going to take a dip. It's got to work within the system, but
will it have that big download sticker on it? Right.
I mean, that's a high probability, but yeah. I don't know. I mean, you look at Wolfenstein, you look at Doom.
Most of this game is dark, and you play it in the dark.
Yeah.
Right. So maybe that can cover up some some bad textures and some issues. I mean, graphically,
they did it with Alien Isolation, Doom, Wolfenstein, and those are AAA, big budget, high graphical intensity games. They made it work. I feel like they can do it. I mean, it's not going to be the same as playing it on your PlayStation or whatever, but
I mean, listen, we always hate when the Nintendo version comes out like a year later, right? Like, why couldn't they put this out the same time they put out the PS5 and Xbox One version?
Well, it's a completely different, it's a completely different game that they're building, more or less.
Well, I got to see.
Like the bones are there, but.
Well, so this was just announced right before the recording, so I didn't get a chance to see who is actually, if another studio is actually porting this, right? So if that's the case, then okay, I can see that. Maybe that's why it took so long. Nintendo, I can't wait for the day we get a Switch Pro eventually, and all the games will come out the same day. Everything, Switch, PS5, Xbox One, or Xbox Series X, or Xbox Trinity and the PS6, and everything comes out on one console, on all the consoles the same day. And then you have the choice of what you want to play it on.
Well, actually, no. I take that back. That will happen once everything is streaming in the cloud, and then you just need to have a good internet connection. Because then you won't have consoles anymore. You'll just have one giant service that you download stuff or you stream stuff from. And we'll all cry because we won't have any physical.
I won't. I'm not looking forward to that.
No, but, I don't think anyone is.
But we'll always have company like Limited Run, okay, or Pixel Heart that will put out physical editions. All right, they're gonna have to start making hard drives. Forever. They're gonna have to start making disk drives.
Yep.
For consoles, that's gonna be the new thing, right? It's gonna be, here's a streaming box, and then like Limited Run is gonna say, well, here's a disk drive for just plug it in the USB.
Yep.
All right, and we'll sell you the physical game if you want it. But they're actually opening up a physical store, which is kind of ironic, right? That they made digital games physical, but they never had a physical store to sell it out of. But
that's right. Changing. They just had a warehouse. Yeah.
That's changing. In North Carolina, they're having a physical store. From the looks of it, is going to be more of like a retro gaming store. Like they're going to sell used games and imports too, and probably whatever stock they have.
Sure.
I'm sure when they start, here's a new game, they have a limited run, they're gonna carve out a number that will just be in store, right?
Yeah, I think it'd be prudent for them to do that because, as far as I understand, they're not going back and doing reprints of older games. Because you have to do a minimum number of games, period, and you need to do a minimum number of games or a run to make it even like profitable, right? Because if you say, "Well, I only wanted to do 10 games," it's going to cost you like $10,000 because it's such a tiny run. But the more games you do, the cheaper it is, like per game, right? The price per game ends up going down. So I think you're right. An additional maybe 500 or so, or maybe 100, or I don't know, whatever kind of makes sense. They'll probably do that on like every new game, and just have some in the store because they need stock. All right. Well, that's the whole question, right? As soon as they run out of stock, they're effed. Because what are they gonna? They're just gonna have all, tchotchkes in there, giant Pokemon statues.
Well, they already carve out, an amount that you can pre-order. They carve out an amount that they take to conventions, right?
Yep.
Like we always love to go there, and now they're gonna have to carve out a chunk to be in the store.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully that doesn't take away from stuff that they from pre-orders, especially popular games that people are gonna want.
Oh yeah, well I mean
that would be my only trepidation about this, right? Like if they say 3,000 games, and we usually carve out maybe 2,000 that you pre-order because they're gonna have 1,000 that they take to different conventions, right? Because they go to like almost every convention out there, retro game convention. I hope they don't say, okay, well, instead of 2,000, now we're going to carve out 1,700 because we need 300 in the store.
Well, they ended up changing that model a while ago. Now it's a pre-order window, so there is no issue. The issue is with the special edition versions, which are always limited. So if there's like, I don't know, a Golf Story, right? The special edition of Golf Story went really quickly, but the regular edition you can just order. So I have the regular edition, couldn't get the special edition. So I don't think that's ever going to change.
Well, I wonder how that works, because if let's just say you get a number like the 25, 2,502 pre-orders.
Yeah, they would make 3,000 or 2,600 or whatever it is. They would just go up, and then that's how we get. That's part of the extra stock that we get. Because they know it's going to go eventually. They will take it to PAX East, Portland Retro Gaming Expo, to whatever, Too Many Games, whatever it is. They'll go to every convention and they'll sell it, or they'll just put it in the store now. So they know that someone's going to buy it eventually. Yeah.
All right. Oh, interesting. Didn't know that. I didn't know they changed that. Oh, that's actually pretty good.
Yeah, and that's like the best thing. So I think there may be like. I think it really just applies to the special edition stuff, right? We're only going to run this many, and those are the ones that go out real quick.
Okay. All right. Dave, it's that time of the show. As we always try to start the show, but epically fail. What have you been playing?
Oh, I've been playing Game of the Year nominee. I'm saying it now, Dan. I've said it before.
Whoa!
Game of the Year nominee, which our half of the year picks are coming up soon. Elden Ring. For the Xbox Series X, and I'm a little bit stuck. Not
a little bit.
Not. I'm not stuck difficulty wise. I just don't know where to go to progress the story. Because I thought like, I unlocked this thing.
There's a story. There's an actual story in Elden Ring.
There's a story of a lovely lady and a handsome fella, and no.
Okay.
It's, there's like 100% a story. There's a huge narrative in there, and they tell you some of it, and then you can explore and learn about it on your own. All the people in the world have backstories, and they have quest lines. It's great. You can get married in the game, apparently. I found that out. Mm-hmm. You can marry Ranni the Witch. I don't know if you can marry anybody else, but she has a particular quest line, and if you do all the things right, you can get betrothed. And she's all right. I would hit it with Ranni. She's probably one of the only people in the game, because everybody else is like looking kind of zombie apocalypse.
That has to be the title of the show. I can hit it with Ranni.
I can hit it with Ranni. Listen, man. Ronnie's all right. She got a cute little outfit, right? She's looking good.
All right.
Staying fit. She knows magic. Mm-hmm.
Okay,
I'll take
I didn't know Elden Ring had some Witcher qualities to it.
Hell yeah, it does. Hell yeah, it does. No, I don't know. I don't know if they go graphic like The Witcher does, but it's certainly an R-rated game. I'll say that. Yeah. So if anybody has any tips, I beat the second world boss. The I think I talked about it last week. The one in Lernia in the academy. I beat her. And I've gotten into that like third area where you go up on the lift, the Dectus lift, and I did a bunch of stuff there, and I don't really know where to go now. So if anybody's got any tips, let me know. But that's what I've been playing. What have you been playing?
All right, I've been playing a lot of games. I was working on the house. Sort of took a games sort of took a back seat to adulting life, right? But I've been playing a lot of games now that everything's been done. I bought and beat Marsupilami on the Switch. Now I know you're saying, what the hell is that, Marsupilami? It's a action. It's a platformer, a traditional platforming game where you play as a marsupial with a long tail, and that's the hook where you use the tail to swing around, and it can get a little bit difficult. The game is kind of short. I beat it like in less than 5 hours. You can like 100% it too. I mean, they have like difficult platforming sections too. Apparently, this is an animated show from the UK.
Oh, like word! No way. Okay.
From the UK, because I was like, why would they make a marsupial action platform? Like a platformer?
Right. It's an old school mascot platformer game. There's got to be some tie into something.
Yeah, so it was a cartoon from the UK.
Nice. Okay. Is it a current cartoon or an old cartoon?
An old cartoon.
Okay. All right. I'm going to have to look this up after the show. I'm writing it down.
So you can play as like 3 different characters, but I play as the main character. I guess his name is Lammy or Marsupilami.
Okay.
So it's really good, creative, and short. So if you have time, you have plenty of time to beat it. You could beat the regular game probably in 2 hours or so, if not. And you could probably like 100% it, because there's different things you could do, and difficult things to try to reach and goals and stuff if you're like a completionist. I beat it in like less than 5 hours, and I'm being generous with that. There are some sections that were really tough, and I had to figure out how to get past it. So
sure.
I tried Trek to Yomi. Right, been playing that on the Xbox. It's on Games Pass. Been checking that out. That game can get a little bit tough because I like to fly through stuff, but you really have to learn how to parry.
It's got timing.
Game.
Yep.
You really got to have the timing, and the thing that makes it difficult is your stamina, right? Because if you're blocking and you miss the parry, that's taking some stamina away, and you can't just keep blocking because then you get tired
and you have no stamina.
And then you get no stamina, and they just keep hitting you, and you die. And I'm stuck right now because it's so many people that come. I'm stuck in a section where I got to like kill like 8 people. They're just coming at me. So I have to figure out how to, you got to strategically parry, move back, roll around, right?
Sounds a lot like Elden Ring, Dan. I don't know.
Well, that's why I stopped playing.
You should just play Elden Ring.
That's why I stopped playing.
Yeah. All right. But it looks good, right? And it feels good.
It looks good, feels good. This is definitely going to be a limited run game, bringing it back eventually. I guarantee they're going to have a physical this game, because I can see why people would like it, right?
Yeah,
especially the people who like Elden Ring.
We're an enlightened bunch, Dan. This is like a
2D Sekiro. I've been playing Alex Kidd in the Miracle World DX on the PS5, and I have to say, I hate Alex Kidd. This one hit and you're dead thing sucks. I don't know how they like this. I don't know how this was a game on a Master System. And people,
it was a different time back in the day, Dan. They didn't have a concept of life bars.
You get hit once and you're dead.
I know.
What kind of crap is that?
You got to get good. Is that? You got to get good. That was the motto. They
only give you 3 lives. They only give you 3 lives. That's bullshit. So,
3 lives, no continues, or 3 lives with continues?
3 listen, 3 lives and continues. Well, put it this way. I don't know what the Master System game has, right? Because I'm playing the PS5 version of DX, where they do have continues, still 3 lives.
Okay.
And you could switch between, Master System graphics or brand new graphics.
Awesome.
But that one hit thing, I'm sorry, that sucks. And I know the boss battles are a game of chance. It's rock paper scissors.
Oh,
You're literally playing rock paper scissors.
Yeah. I think I saw My Life in Gaming playing that, and the boss battles are weird. It's weird.
Yeah, it is kind of weird. Rock paper, like that should be like a side thing, not the boss.
Yeah,
battle.
exactly.
But with the one hit kill, I'll take the game of chance. Take the game of chance. I'll take the game of chance. And I beat Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island on Switch again.
Nice. That game is classic, man.
I beat it. The game is classic, and I know it's technically the first Yoshi sort of like Yoshi game.
Yeah.
Right? It's considered the first Yoshi game, but technically, because I was watching something like a documentary. It is canon. It is the second Mario World game.
Oh, I know. You vehemently said weird. No. You vehemently said no. I think when we were doing some. I think we were rating the best Mario games or whatever it was, and you're like, nah, it doesn't count. I told you it counts.
I'm sorry, it still doesn't count.
I told you it counts. It's considered canon. Listen, this comes from Nintendo. You can't say that they're wrong.
It came from a documentary. Nintendo. It didn't come out of Nintendo's mouth. I didn't hear Miyamoto say it. He needs to come. Miyamoto needs to fly to New York, okay, in front of a church, synagogue, or temple with a notary, okay, and write down.
Why does it have to be blessed by a deity? Why you got to get God involved? I mean, Miyamoto is essentially
actual sequel to the Mario.
Okay. I'm gonna ask you one question, and then we can move on. Do the words Super Mario World 2 feature in the title of the game?
That doesn't matter.
Thank you.
I'll tell you why it doesn't. I'll tell you why it doesn't matter. I'll tell you why it doesn't matter. I'll tell you why.
Why would they do that? And they're not going to put Lara Croft Presents Yoshi's Island.
I'll tell you why.
No.
I'll tell you why.
No.
Because in the Japanese version of Super Mario World, it has Super Mario 4 in the title too.
Yeah, but it's still a Super Mario game, though, at the end of the day.
That means,
it still counts.
So that means
it's still a Super Mario game.
So that means this would be Super Mario 5.
Whatever, it's still a Super Mario game.
No, that's
the point.
Sorry.
That's the point.
Super Mario game. I refuse that. Listen, Miyamoto needs to come here to New York in front of a church with the notary.
We got to get him on the show, Dan. This is the only way.
And that's the only way I will accept it.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and say here right and now to all the fans too. This is our new goal. Help us get Miyamoto on the show, so we can ask him which game is his favorite, Super Mario Bros. 3 or Super Mario World. I will die a happy man if we can get that answer. Easy. I don't even care what his answer is. I'm just so curious to have him tell us which one of those games he likes more, which is his favorite. Oh, I would die a happy man.
I just want him to admit that it's not a sequel to Super Mario World. That's all.
Oh, I don't care about that. I don't care about that.
All right.
Oh.
So let's take a break. Mm-hmm. When we come back, we get into the top gaming news of last week. And we're back. All right, let's get into the top gaming news of last week. We got 5 stories on the docket. So let's get into our lead story, and that is Starfield and Redfall have been officially delayed by Bethesda Microsoft. Right? Redfall was supposed to come out this summer, I believe. Right? I think it was either summer or the fall. And
which
game it was supposed to be Redfall was that new IP that they ended the E3 showcase for last year, right? Remember?
Oh, with like It was like kind of the
Like a-
co-op-y with like vampires or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that that's supposed to come out this summer.
Okay.
And we haven't seen anything or heard anything about it since
Other
it was
than
announced.
that trailer. Yeah.
Or at least anything substantial. So that's been delayed. And Starfield, which was supposed to come out 11/11/22, which they again announced last year.
Right.
That's been delayed. So both of these games have been delayed until the first half of 2023.
Okay. Yeah.
So-
I mean, I think this is a good thing. I don't think there's necessarily anything to be worried about, but I think I just need more time in the hopper, you know? I feel like they don't want to have another Cyberpunk on their hands. 2 Cyberpunks, in fact, right? Redfall and Starfield. I don't know what the scope of Redfall is, but Starfield is gonna be bigger than Skyrim. I mean, you can travel to different planets, and you can explore the planetary world. So how many planets they have, how big the universe is, and the whatever is, it's a scale beyond just the world of Skyrim or whatever the big land is. I forget what the overall continent is.
I will say a delayed game is a good. Any delayed game is always a good thing, right?
Usually,
They get more time in the hopper, fix whatever bugs. Cyberpunk 2077 should have been delayed a year. Or
well, yeah. I guess the problem you come up with is you keep delaying it because they originally announced it in 2013.
you lose
like
momentum
before.
every time you delay.
Right, exactly. And then it's
momentum.
like, you keep delaying it. You're eventually going to start thinking like, do they know what they're doing? Right? Yeah, you got to build confidence.
Well, it's either you set expectations, right, by delaying the game and being transparent about why and having sort of giving yourself enough time to actually fix these bugs, right? And not just saying we're going to delay it 3 months and then you really need a year, right? And then maybe cancel older versions, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Cancel the older versions that may not work, that may sort of bring a negative stigma to the brand, right? Because maybe the versions for the new consoles will work, but playing it on the old consoles, the old hardware, that won't work. And then you definitely people are going to look at this game sideways. Right?
Yeah, that's that's like kind of the delicate dance. You don't want to overpromise, you want to underpromise and overdeliver always. And Starfield has kind of been building up to be like, it's gonna be amazing, and I think it's gonna, but yeah.
So Starfield, I think we haven't seen anything.
We just saw that teaser. Yeah, we saw that teaser of the space person walking around, and that's about it. Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't really. We have no idea what this game is.
No,
right?
No.
We have no idea what this game is. It's just like that Capcom game that was at Sony's presentation last year, right? I think it was like some crazy. I forgot the name of it. It was like some crazy like astronaut in Times Square.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
I forgot the name. Yeah, we have no idea what that game is either.
Yep.
Right?
I got that confused with Ghostwire Tokyo for a little bit.
I thought it was them revealing that Starfield was going to be a PlayStation. Right? Because it's an astronaut.
Yeah.
So,
that was a dope teaser for whatever that thing is going to be. Who knows if that's going to even come out? I hope it does, but
we haven't heard anything from that either. But
no.
I think Starfield. I think this is it. We will see what this game is at Xbox's showcase. I can
100%.
I can book it. Right?
Yeah.
Like, it has to come out next year. It's been in the hopper for a long time. Right? And because they delayed it and didn't give it an indefinite delay first half next year, guaranteed it's probably going to be. I don't think it's going to be first half. I think they're going to just let this sit until the fall. Right? This probably be like a September release.
Oh yeah,
like that.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think it's going to be the first half.
I could see that for multiple reasons. Right? Get it out for Christmas.
Yeah.
Kind of kick off the season, and you get a ton of time to put polish on it. But I think you're right. There's going to be a big portion. They'll probably kick it off with Starfield. they'll have an in-depth, they'll have a dude on stage playing with the controller. He'll show you what the world looks like, the things you can do, and it'll be a very controlled demo, but they'll have a good playable chunk that they'll kind of walk through. They'll probably go in depth. They'll probably have a nice sizzle reel in the beginning or the end. Yeah. I don't think anything changes except for the release date. But yeah, we're gonna get a lot of good info on it, I think.
So they said the first half again. They said the first half of next year.
Right.
I think they just said that sort of to appease everybody, right? Like, hey, it's coming, don't worry. But I think it's going to be a full year.
It could be.
At least, I think it's going to come out the fall of 2023.
Given
at some point, well, I'm saying at some point next year, they're going to announce a release date, and they're not going to say we're going to delay it again. It's hey, here's the release date, September, right? And that's it. Like, no one's going to care that they said the first half. And you lied to us again. You got delayed again. They're just going to put out a statement and say, hey, we got a release date. It's going to be September or November of next year. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think fans have to understand that most companies aren't lying to you. They really want it to come out, publisher, developer, or whatever. They're like, I think we can get it done. We've estimated out what's left to do, right? They've kind of crunched the numbers. They've done the planning meetings, right? They're like, all right, if we work, this amount of time, we can get this amount of stuff done. We can get the game out at this time. And, sometimes things go left, things go right. Like, oh, this is much more complex than we anticipated to fix, and we're going to need more time, So as long as they say eventually, not like a day before, hey, it's going to have to get, delayed. And they're like, look, it's, it happens.
I'll be honest. I only care about Starfield. I can't give two shits about Redfall.
Well, we don't know anything about it. It's a new title,
It's they wanted to. I know that this is their live service game that they wanted. It's going to be their live service multiplayer dark vampire game. Like that. That's what this is. This is Destiny meets Darkstalkers.
Sure.
Like that's what they wanted to be.
Sure.
That's what it looked like. I have no interest in it. So when they said Redfall was going to be delayed, I said so.
Yeah.
But Starfield, now that was something I really wanted to.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's stick with Xbox. Apparently, Xbox had 2 outages.
Yep.
Last weekend.
Yep.
Right.
They messing up, Dan. They messing up.
Well, I'm glad to hear you say that, because when this happened to PlayStation a few years ago, you were all over them. And,
it's terrible.
And rightfully so. So I'm glad to see you keeping that same energy.
Well,
the bad thing, the worst thing about
let's tell the full story about it.
Well, I'm just saying the worst thing for me was when I heard that people had the physical game. You had the physical game and you popped it in and you couldn't play it, right? I can semi understand you not being able to play your digital games. You not be able to log on to your Xbox account and you can't play your digital game, right? The games that you bought digitally.
Well,
maybe
it's the same. It's the same exact situation. If it's on the hard drive, if you physically downloaded it, it's no different than a physical disc in that case. Now, if it's in your account and you haven't downloaded it yet, the download service is down. Yeah,
that's what I mean. Like if you bought the game and you haven't downloaded.
Right, because the service is down, right? Yeah,
the service is down. I can understand that.
I think that is the issue that I have, because I get that you want to have security, you want to make sure people aren't pirating and finding loopholes and being able to download games that where they shouldn't. But you shouldn't punish the people that own the games for internet service going out, whether it be from their ISP or from Microsoft directly, right? I understand the need for validating, but the validation doesn't need to happen every single time. You can get a validation key, a certificate, whatever it is that lasts, I don't know, more than a day, like a week. How does that sound? Because they are the company. Microsoft touts themselves as the company of like, well, we want to preserve games, we want to create the ability to play the whole library of Xbox games, more or less, very easily, right? You want to play Fusion Frenzy on your Series X, you can do it with enhancements. It's great. And now they're like, well, you don't have internet, you're assed out, right? Or if our service is down, you're assed out. So I'm not cool with that. That's my kind of bigger issue, right? Not being able to go online and play multiplayer Halo sucks, but I understand that there's problems. Transparency, like we said in the last segment, I think is important, right? Just to say, hey, look, we have some issues, we're working on them. Estimated fix is about this time, right? And it went down twice, so fans were rightfully upset. Yeah, I was mad.
All right, let me play semi-devil's advocate.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Not with physical games. Not with the physical. That there's no excuse. No excuse. If I own this game, if I own the physical game, and I pop it in, it doesn't matter if I have internet or not. It shouldn't matter if I have internet or not.
That's
I should
right.
be able to play the game. Period. Point blank. That's it.
right. That's right.
But I buy the game on the store. Can you? I don't know if this is true or not because I don't buy digital games at all. Can you buy a digital game without having an Xbox account?
Oh, I don't think you. No, you have to because it's everything is tied to an account which has a credit card tied to it for.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, you can't do it anonymously.
Okay, so with that said, I'm gonna play devil's advocate. I bought the game. The game is tied to my account. It is on my hard drive. The Xbox outage means you can't log in to your You can't log in as Dave Rotino, right? So it doesn't know that you are Dave Rotino, so it won't let you access the game that's on your hard drive. It won't let you play it because you can't log in.
It does. There are some signatures that are on the account itself. Like, it's not all offline. There are things that are stored on the actual console itself. So, I mean, well, okay. So if I went to your place and you like turned off your Wi-Fi or whatever, severed the connection, I wouldn't be able to log in to my account to play those games. So I wouldn't even be able to get there. I would have to have set it up on the device and whatever else, right? Now, if there was internet, I could say, well, I want to go ahead and log in and play on this machine, which I believe Microsoft can let you do now. You can go to any machine and say, hey, I want to log in and like play these games. So as long as this account is logged in, you should be good, right? Whether that's local logged in or logged in and connected to the internet, right? There's some features that won't work, right? You won't be able to save screenshots to the cloud. You won't be able to download updates or whatever. But in terms of like playing the games, like, or in terms of validating the account, like there would be no way unless you knew my account information to log into my account, right? And also you would have to connect to the internet if it was a different system, right? So like if I was a new Xbox owner and I bought the Series X and I went through the process of setting up an account, I think all of that needs to be online initially. So they can validate it on their servers, save the information, make sure you're not doing anything shady, and then your account is created and it's set up on the local machine and also in the cloud. Now, I mean, how they do validation and whatever else, but is kind of, I'm not 100% sure about, but you've at least created the account and you can store some information on your machine and you can reliably say, this is Dave's account on this machine, so it should be fine.
But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about you come to my house.
Yeah.
Right? And no internet. I have no internet. My internet's down.
It's not going to work.
You log into, you cut the Xbox on. I have 50 million games on my hard drive. Right?
I wouldn't be able to access your games unless I'm logged in as you.
Yes.
It's tied to the account, but that account information can be stored and is, for the most part, stored locally. But it connects to the server to validate that stuff, as far as I understand it.
Yeah.
So if I came over to your house, made the account, validated off the net, downloaded a bunch of stuff under my name, and you didn't have it in your account, when you went to go log in as you would be locked out because you don't own it. own it in quotation marks. So you wouldn't be able to access it that way.
Wait. I own the right. I own the right to download it and play it. You don't really own it.
And even that's tenuous. Yeah, even that's tenuous.
Yeah.
As long as Microsoft is feeling nice on that day. So, it's like it's kind of bullshit. They kind of err on the side of, I guess, high security is really where it's at. Which they don't really need to, because it's not really necessary. You validate like once a week, honestly, I think is where it's at. And I'm gonna throw Nintendo under the bus too, because they validate every time as well. So I've had problems where I'll like hop on the subway and want to play a digital game, and it needs to validate on the server because it just does that every time. So I'll try and load up, Enter the Gungeon, right? Because I don't have the physical for the Switch, and it's got to validate on the server. So I have to have an internet connection. I have to connect to the Wi-Fi and authenticate and boot the game up before the subway doors close, and I move out of the range of Wi-Fi. It's annoying. Okay. They should also do a once a week situation.
I would do, back when I was traveling, I would have like the NES and the SNES on the, I would have those on the Switch.
Yeah.
Validated at home to make sure I validated, so when I got on the bus, it would work.
Yeah, but you would have to, because as soon as you switch applications, I think it needs to revalidate. I don't know if you can like validate them for the day, maybe.
No. I think for that, I think they checked like every 3 days or something along those lines.
Maybe there's a little bit of a leeway. Yeah, fair enough.
Because I remember. I mean, again, I haven't taken my Switch out of my house in 2 years, so I don't really remember. But when I had the Switch Lite, I would when I was catching the bus, I would take the Switch Lite, validate it at home, so when I go to work the next day, it worked on the bus, going and coming.
Yeah.
So
3 days better than a day, 100%.
3 days is better than a day.
A week, I think, is really where it's at, to be honest. But we'll see. I don't know if anything's actually going to come of this, because they're back up and running now, so everyone's going to stop complaining. So,
but I didn't notice though. Like I was playing.
Neither did I.
My Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I played it before and after all the outages, because I didn't see it at all.
Same.
I didn't even know it was outages until I started checking Twitter just for to start putting the show together. I was like, oh man, there were outages. I didn't even notice. I wonder if Dave can't play Elden Ring because there were 2 outages.
No, I was good. No issues.
All right. Let's talk about Gotham Knights. We got an extensive gameplay and some narration with 2 out of the 4 characters that you could play in Gotham Knights, with Red Hood and with Nightwing, right? Gotham Knights, not connected to the Arkham series at all right? Made by WB Montreal, open world RPG, right? So coming out in October. Looking forward to it now. Not gonna lie, I've been looking forward to this.
Looks cool.
Looks good.
Very
good.
excited.
The mechanics looks similar to the Arkham games. This is the first Batman game or Batman centric game without Batman actually being a playable character.
Right. Spoilers: Batman's dead.
Yes,
he's out. He's out. You can go to his gravestone, visit his gravestone, I believe, which is crazy. Which is crazy. They're like, nah. You know the character you love? No, you're gonna play as his sidekick and his sidekick's friends.
all his sidekicks. So we
didn't
get any extensive gameplay for Robin or Batwoman. So I'm kind of curious to see how their style is and how they will be able to traverse the world, right? Because Batman had his cowl where he would just glide. Yep. Right, and then he had the claw where you could retract. They all apparently still have the grappling hook. Yes, they from we saw Red Hook and Nightwing do have the grappling hooks, but they can traverse the world, so to speak, with some mystic. Well, Red Hood. I was kind of curious to see how he would do, right? Because he's not a gadget person. He's he has guns that have non-lethal bullets, which don't know how I feel about that now that he's a good guy, right? He has non-lethal ammunition. but he has sort of like a mystical leap that was sort of like a holdover from when he was resurrected in the Lazarus chamber. Spoilers. His name is Jason Todd. He used to be Robin. He got killed and got resurrected by Ra's al Ghul. Don't know if they're going to stick with that in the game. Because they just said he was resurrected by some mystical beings, right?
Wow, he's the one. Ra's al Ghul is the mystical being.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he can sort of like jump through the air and float a little bit with this mystical leap that they call it. Non-lethal bullets, but if you're Nightwing, you sort of have like a jetpack that you can sort of like fly through the air, right, and hold on. So that's pretty cool. I like the fact that Nightwing is more acrobatic because Nightwing obviously was the first the first Robin. So and he grew up in a circus, so his fighting skill is acrobatic. So that kind of ties in.
He is the Dick Grayson. Now,
yes.
But I thought Dick Grayson just became Robin, or did he rebrand himself to Nightwing?
Dick Grayson was Robin. He was the original Robin.
Okay.
Him and Batman had a falling out.
Right.
And became Nightwing.
Okay.
Then you had Jason Todd, who's the second Robin.
Okay.
Who got killed and got resurrected, and became Red Hood, and he was a villain, the main villain in the last Arkham game, right? And then you have Tim something. I forgot his last name. Tim. He was the third Robin.
Okay.
And then Batman's, and now they have Batman's illegitimate son becoming like the fourth Robin.
Was he messing around with? Catwoman? Poison Ivy?
No, Ra's al Ghul's daughter.
What? Isn't that a conflict of interest? Batman, what are you doing? Why didn't you wrap it up, Batman? I'm sorry.
He has all these gadgets, but he can't.
Yeah, right. Where's your condom dispenser, Batman? You done fucked up. I'm sorry. That's a conflict of interest. He can't do it. What's he gonna do? Now I know he doesn't kill his villains. I know it's the whole like, well, my parents died by gunshots or whatever. I don't use guns, whatever else. I don't kill people. I just I put them in the asylum and I hope they get better. And they don't. They always break out.
They never get better. They always break out.
So I guess it's okay because Ra's al Ghul is never going to die according to the book of Batman, like the basic tenets of what Batman is. Right? You can't really break those tenets unless you want to go bat crazy, pun intended. So that wouldn't be a thing. But she's going to be salty if her dad keeps going into the asylum over and over again, right? If he keeps going into Arkham like that, she's going to be a little pissed, right? Baby mama's going to be pissed.
Well, his son, his name is Damian Wayne, and he's aggressive. He's very aggressive. So I seen the animated movie that came out a couple of years ago, and he's all about like calming him down. You must control your anger, son. Come on, right? So, but I will say I like this. I was looking forward to this. I love the sort of the chase sequence, right? Because everybody can use the bat cycle. Right. Yep. They made it very clear that everybody can use the bat cycle and you can chase your enemies and, sort of do combos that sort of, break the car down and it explodes and number of enemies come after you. And this is going to be sort of more open worldy, right? I guess I don't know if this is going to be sort of, you can play it by yourself, but there'll be situations just like I think it'll be just like Arkham or Spider-Man where you have like there's a warehouse you're going to have to beat like a certain amount, like a wave of enemies, right? Like I think it'll be sort of in that vein, or you can play co-op, or you can, sort of traverse the story. The issue that people had was they originally, I don't know if they announced this when this was announced, or people just thought you could have 4-player co-op with all players, right? I think they announced that you could have 4-player co-op. That's something that's probably going to come a little bit later because they only said 2-player co-op.
That's a little interesting. I feel like that is it's a development issue. Hard to get 4-player co-op over the net or whatever, because I don't think it's going to be split screen co-op, right? I think it's one person, one console, one screen, and you can play over the net.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be split screen. So.
Right. So that makes it a little bit easier. But I mean, it's still, you got to kind of coordinate and all that. So sad that it's not 4-player. Happy that it's at least 2-player co-op, so we can kind of get some Batman gaming in or some Robin gaming in. But yeah, it looked really good, and it looked a lot like the fighting system from the Arkham games, 100%. Multiple enemies coming at you at once, right? Kind of like Ninja Gaiden, right? They don't necessarily stop, but there are like kind of there are points when it's good to go in. You can kind of crowd control the enemies. You can pick them up and push them into somebody else. You can do like the combos, and it all felt like an extension of the Arkham games, which is fine by me. I love the Arkham fighting system. I thought it was good. It felt good. It was crunchy.
And they also have you sort of like your stats, your energy, or your inventory. Like you can customize what's on screen that you see.
That was also really cool, like customizing the UI. Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't give an example of it though. He just said you can do it. You can put this is what I like to have on screen. It would have been cool if you would have been like, but if you don't want this energy bar here, we can take it away.
You could swap it out for something else. Yeah.
So that would have been better if they would actually give us an example and not just said it.
Mm-hmm.
There was a little bit of controversy with this. That the internet went up. They were. It was crazy. There was an uproar on the internet during the gameplay. People were mad that it wasn't like a perfect gameplay. Whoever was playing the game to showcase it, or from the slice that they showed, wasn't perfect. The person got hit a bunch of times.
Okay.
Where like the person got hit, and some energy was knocked off, and people are mad that this person is playing a game sucks, and I would have never let that person hit me. I would have parried and dodged. And like it was so ridiculous. I didn't even notice it, to be honest, until it was pointed out.
Those people can kick rocks. Then I'm sorry.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
All right.
Why does that? If anything, you want to see how the animations look when you get hit, how you interact with the different enemies and all that. Like, who cares if it's a perfect playthrough or not? You're not watching a Let's Play. Right? This is a dude showing what the game looks like. And you got everything. Here's him doing combos. Here's him getting hit by the enemies. How you react to that. That's what you want to see. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
That's just stupid.
But there was a bit of bad news. They announced that when this first got announced, this was coming out like for every system except for Stadia and except for Switch, right? But now it will only be a current gen game. It will not be coming out on the PS4 or the Xbox One.
Right. Well, I gotta ask you, Dan, because you're pretty vocal about keeping the past generation or the previous generation alive with games.
Only because it's hard to get consoles now. That's the only reason.
Okay, well, you should be a little upset about this, yes? Because I mean,
I'm a little disappointed. But people, even you said, you even mentioned to me that the game didn't look great, right? Like there was some texture issues or some graphical issues with what you saw. Right?
It looked like a previous generation game. They definitely need some more polish. They need to do what they're doing with Starfield and push it out a little bit and do another pass.
So this was being played on the PS5. We haven't seen any gameplay from an Xbox Series X, but let's just assume that it's similar, right. to that.
Right.
And if that's the case, then it's going to look worse on the PS4 and Xbox One, and maybe be buggy. I think we have another. We may have a cyberpunk situation here, right? Where they're learning their lesson from cyberpunk, where it's like, well, let's not put it out.
That's exactly why they're cutting it from previous generations, right? It's just
because we don't want to stain the brand of this.
I think maybe performance-wise it'd be even worse, but graphically, I think this was, even though they were playing on a PS5, this was kind of an enhanced PS4 version, because that's what it looked like to me. It looked like a good game on like PS4. I wasn't necessarily wowed by the graphics, but
I'm okay with this because of Cyberpunk. right? Like because of what happened with Cyberpunk, it wasn't playable, essentially on last generation. And I remember that I experienced that myself because I didn't have a PS5 at the time, and I played it on PS4, and I had glitches, and I think I thought I was in the clear at one point, and I'm like, oh no, these glitches don't apply to me. I'm good. I was playing on PS4 Pro, and all of a sudden I couldn't go anywhere. I had to restart the save because I was stuck. I couldn't. The next cutscene never queued up, so I was just stuck. Right. So I had to replay the game. So I understand that, and that no one should have to go through that. So if that's the case,
no. You want to have a good experience across the board. That's 100%. Yeah.
Then I'm okay with this. Then I'm okay with it. It sucks. It sucks. It does suck. But I will say there's some light at the end of the tunnel. Looks like stock for both the Series X and the PS5 are coming frequently. Right. They're selling out, but they're coming frequently, and stores are having them. Right, stores are getting them in stock, and limiting one per person, even though you do have to buy it in a bundle, and every store is doing that. You have to buy it in a bundle. So that there's light at the end of this tunnel, right? The chip shortage is, I'm not saying it's coming to an end anytime soon, but it's getting better. So, and you always can buy a Series S, right? And maybe they can broker a deal with Microsoft to put it in Games Pass, and you can stream it on your Xbox One. That probably won't be at launch, but maybe they can do something where they can put it in Games Pass a couple of months later.
It's a possibility. Yeah.
So, all right, let's talk about something I know is near and dear to your heart, and that is FIFA.
Yep.
We got one more game in the EA FIFA relationship, and then that will be it. EA Sports is ending its partnership with FIFA and rebranding soccer game franchise.
Well, we talked about this previously, that FIFA wanted a lot of money because this is their cash cow. EA's top-selling game franchise of all time for EA is the FIFA franchise.
Just as a side note, over 70% of EA's revenue comes from live service titles and DLC.
Yep. And most of that 70% comes from the FIFA foot mode, which is the loot box thing where you open packs and you kind of build the team off the cards that you get, and then you take those players onto the field. It's a whole big thing. It's a big cash cow for them. So I understand why FIFA is saying, hey, you're making a ton of money. We need to up our licensing agreement because you're making a ton of money off this, right? And even more complex is that there's apparently over 300 different licenses that they're dealing with. This comes in the form of Nike and Adidas shoes and whatever else, down to the different leagues, to the overall like FIFA branding. The World Cup stuff is like a whole nother thing. Like it's insane. So what this means is obviously it's not going to say FIFA anywhere. So you're gonna lose that immersion, whatever. You're gonna lose that branding. It'll now be EA FC Football Club, but you are gonna lose. I think you're definitely gonna end up losing some player likenesses and some player names and all that. I can guarantee you, there's gonna be a lot of player number 23s. I posted that on Twitter. There's gonna be a lot of player number 23s running around the pitch. And that's kind of gonna suck. We're gonna kind of lose a little bit of that. EA still retains all the code. They still retain all of the mechanics, everything. So I mean, the game is gonna feel mechanically like an EA FIFA game, but it's just gonna kind of lose some of that stuff.
Well, it's EA is gonna have a faster time, sort of, coming back because they have all those codes, they have the assets, they can make a new game faster.
They just have to take out the branding is really what it is, and whatever FIFA integrations or whatever, maybe some player names change or whatever, you gotta change some skins or whatever it is.
Yeah, but they have a faster time to recoup than FIFA, right? Because FIFA, there's reports that they may either buy or start their own studio to make their own game, and still negotiate with other companies to have, get the license so they can make a FIFA game. But even if they go, let's just say they go to Ubisoft or someone like that to make a FIFA game, that's not going to happen for another 2-3 years, right? That's not something that there's not going to be another FIFA game after the next one that comes out right away. You're gonna have to wait because they're gonna have to build it up from the ground from scratch.
Well, I mean, maybe, or you just align with Pro Evolution Soccer or whatever the live service one that's also from Konami is, which is a shit show, but they could make it better. I would more assume that, like, hey, you have because there are other established soccer games. Just align with one of those and say, hey, we're going to offer the license for this amount of money, yes or no, right? You'll definitely get someone who will want that license. And it won't be exclusive, right? FIFA can license it out to anybody. So I think they're going to do a non-exclusivity agreement. If anybody wants it, it'll be this price. And maybe it'll change based on the company, how big the game title is, how much they can get for it. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it would be smart to have, buy a studio and start making their own games, and they don't have to worry about any of that. And they can keep all the revenue to themselves.
They could do that. Now, what if they partnered with Mario Strikers? What if they partnered with because the World Cup is coming up in 2024, but I think they're making
partner with Nintendo,
and
have like sort of like an arcadey style soccer game.
Yeah, like, and you just be like, I want to be Team USA, I want to be Team Italy, right? Because you only have 64 teams in the World Cup, I believe.
Who's the top? I don't follow football / soccer in America. Who's like the top football player in the world? In like overall? In the world, yeah. Overseas.
Maybe Mbappe. Okay, he's on Paris Saint-Germain and he's a beast.
So you want to have Mbappe and Mario on the same team?
Oh my God, that'd be awesome. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Reus. He's on maybe Dortmund, or he's on one of the German teams. He's very good. Oh, geez, I can't think right now.
Well, I mean, there's
a lot of them out there. Yeah,
like WWE, right? And Madden. These games have gotten a little stale. You've talked about how it's just you're spending more money, nothing crazy. They're just for a roster update, right?
Kind of in some cases.
So this sort of shakes it up a little bit, and hopefully we get some variety, right, in the gameplay, and get some new ideas, get some fresh ideas. I mean, Madden still is exclusive to EA, but at least we're getting an arcadey football game coming from 2K eventually, right? WWE 2K still, I don't know how long the exclusivity has. They still have it for, but to make sort of like a regular, a sim game. But WWE is making a wrestling RPG, right? So we are getting something different, which is only good, and we should. I hate when it gets stale like this and there's no competition, right? Or big competition.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, variety is important, right?
Yeah. And the last thing we have on a docket today, and I thought this was interesting. This was pretty funny. They went viral recently, even though this happened last year. There was a person recording a concert on his 3DS.
Yep.
His actual 3DS. He's recording. You know how people say they're annoyed when people start taking pictures and video on their iPads, right? Like they're holding up a giant.
Oh yeah, right. And it like covers like so much. Yeah, no, you can't do that.
Yeah, but I don't think I've ever seen anybody record anything on their 3DS, like let alone a concert. Right, like I don't think I've ever seen anybody. Oh my God, we're in Paris. Let me take a picture, and you take a selfie with your 3DS with the Eiffel Tower behind you. I've never seen any of that. So this is kind of weird and interesting at the same time. That he recorded a concert on his 3DS. It was terrible sound, by the way. But the video was better than I thought it would.
Video 640 by 480. Dan, that ain't great. That ain't great.
It's not great, but if you look at the playback, it's not as bad as I thought.
Compared to the audio, And it's funny. they mentioned it. They mentioned a couple different artists, which like I'm like, okay, I could definitely see that. The video in question is from Anamanaguchi, who are a chiptune band, who are one of my favorite bands, by the way. They did the music to the Scott Pilgrim Saves the World, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, the game soundtrack. They did the whole entire thing. So they are very much into using Nintendo hardware in their songs. Most notably, they hacked the Game Boy, and they actually have it hooked up because a lot of their earlier songs use sounds from the Game Boy sound processor, and they kind of loop that into their setup. So they have like special, I guess, custom software or whatever. They, pop in the disc, whatever, kick it on. And I think it just runs. I think they have it all set up already, but they could end up making music off of it, which is awesome. So for someone to like bust out a 3DS, like that person knew what they were doing. And I'm sure everyone's like, that's amazing. The quality not so great, but yeah.
Well,
That's incredible.
Behind, I just wanted somebody to have like a Game Boy with a Game Boy camera and start taking pictures.
Right? You get that nice 1-bit graphics. Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
All right.
I love it.
All right, that's it. That's all we have for this week.
Mm-hmm.
Dave, you got any good plans for the weekend?
Oh, the most exciting plans, Dan. I'm renting a rug doctor. Oh, aren't you excited? I gotta clean my house. I gotta clean my house. I gotta deep clean the rugs.
Rug doctor. That doesn't make any sense. No.
Gotta deep clean the rug. That's right. Rugs get dirty. I have many rugs in my house.
So there's a doctor who went to school, went and got their PhD.
That's right. He went to Harvard. Right. He's a Harvard doctor. And he comes by and he analyzes your rug and gives you medication. No. It's a full-on machine. You can rent it for very cheaply, or you can buy it for like $600, which nobody's going to buy it. You're just going to rent it.
I would buy it.
It's not worth it because how many times are you going to rent it to use it? Maybe like once a year. And if that's the case, and it's like $40 to rent for.
Well, if you buy it, then you can clean it. You can keep it clean, every week, all year round. Keep it clean.
Yeah, but it doesn't get dirty that quickly.
Well, you have a cat now.
I do. But the rug doctor is really for I can get the hair up.
Wait, what's the
cat hair?
Name?
Is not a problem.
It's Benjamin, right?
Benson.
That's close.
He's
close
the
enough.
official cat of Rated G. How do you not know this? Benson's offended. He's the official mascot. He's the mascot of Rated G.
I almost said Charlie, so I was close.
Oh my God! Well, C and B. I mean, it's the best I can ask for. So, yeah, I know you're excited, Dan. I'm excited. All right, this is what we have to look forward to as an adult, having a clean rug.
I'm happy that you're cleaning your room.
There you go.
Listen, since I renovated the house, I had all this stuff in the side of my house. The garbage man actually came earlier today and took everything. Listen, if you're going to be an adult, there are two things you need to do: take care of your garbage man and take care of your mail person.
There you go. Keep them happy.
Keep them happy because they will make sure you get the mail and they'll just throw it and leave it on the floor. And the garbage person will go and pick up your garbage. More than 6 bags if you have more than 6 bags. So 6 bags is like the max you could keep outside, at least in New York.
My parents would always every year they'd put a bottle of wine in the mailbox, and the mailman was like over the moon about it. So they're like, "Yeah, we got you."
Nice.
So
I'm probably gonna load up Cyberpunk. I was thinking about playing Cyberpunk, and playing the next game for Saturday Morning Retro. That's pretty much
coming
it.
Up soon.
It's gonna be a low key weekend.
Yeah. All right. Good deal. Well, all right. I think that is episode 316 in the books, folks. And we want to thank you guys for listening to the show, for liking, commenting, and doing all the good stuff that you guys do. If you want to interact with us, and we know that you do, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Rated G for Gamers. Also, we are part of the Gaming Podcast Alliance. You can check out all the fine podcasts featured on there at gamingpodcastalliance.com if you're looking for more gaming goodness. So, please listen, like, rate, review, and subscribe. And as always,
keep gaming.